Hey everyone, it's Bernicia, aka Kanye Flybug. Welcome back to my channel. This is a follow-up to my last video. I was pretty emotional and it's gotten worse. I know I'm smiling, but I have to do that in order to not cry. Or to, the anger that I feel it's unbearable. I actually had a really bad breakdown on Sunday, and for those of you who know me, you know that I'm an empath, so I am really receptive to the weight of the world. So this has really knocked the shit out of me, like literally. And when I woke up Saturday, I felt so weighed down and just so sad. It was unbearable. It was a little bit hard to breathe. And I finally broke down on Sunday, and Matt was like, "Oh my God, this is why you gotta talk to us." And I'm like, I didn't know how to explain it for him to understand because, as y'all know, Matt's white. So I think he understood fairly well, but I mean, there's still a part of him that's never gonna get it, you know? He doesn't know the struggle because he's never had to know the struggle, you know what I mean? I've been posting a lot of songs that, you know, click to me about the mood of today. I've also posted some stuff about Jane Elliott. I think I said that in the last one where, you know, she was giving a talk to a class of all white students, and she asked them, you know, for people to stand up if they wanted to be treated the way blacks have been treated in this country, and no one stood up. And then she rephrased it and, you know, repeated herself, and still no one stood up. And she said, well, by not standing up, that means that you know what's happening, and yet you don't want it to happen to you, but you're okay with it happening to someone else. And I found that quite interesting. And this is an old white lady. I love this woman. Jane Elliott is awesome. I love her. I need to actually look at some more of her talks and whatnot. But I wanted to share some things, not everything, because there's a lot. I mean, of the racism that I've dealt with in my life. I mean, starting from when I was little. I mean, walking to a 7-Eleven, you know, this car full of white guys pulled up to me and they threw eggs at me. And, you know, they told me to go back to Africa. And I didn't understand because I mean, I knew what they were saying, but I was like thinking literally, I've never been to Africa, so how can I go back to some place I've never been? And I felt ashamed, and like when I got home, covered in eggs and eggshells, my mom was like, "What the fuck happened to you?" And I was like, so I told her, and she was so upset, and I didn't get it then because I was just a little kid, but I get it now. You know what I mean? And no, it wasn't right what those boys did to me. It wasn't. And if I had been an adult, I still don't know what I would have been able to do at that point. I would have probably been in more shock than anything. It's just, I mean, I've gone to see, you know, a concert once, and I had, you know, with Matt, and I had, you know, this white lady in particular. She was just staring at me. She was giving me like the worst eyes ever, and I was just like, oh, really? And then the person that she was with started looking at me like that too, and it made me so uncomfortable. I was like, really? One of our first dates, we went out to a restaurant, and this white guy at this table was like giving us like the worst eyes ever. And Matt was like, if he says something or if he looks at you again, tell me, because I'm gonna go over there and I want to say some shit. And I was like, no, don't do that. I'm trying to, you know, kind of brush it under the rug, but you know, it's a terrible thing. And I had this conversation with him that it's terrible that we are raised to always have this perception, or have to give this perception that we are not aggressive, that we're not angry, that we're not bitter, that we're not dangerous. And white people don't have to do that. And it sucks elephant balls that we're always just persecuted for no reason. We always have to, we're always walking on eggshells, literally, to make sure that someone isn't uncomfortable with our presence. And it's not fair, because we bleed just like they do. We have the same feelings and thoughts that they do. We just want to live and exist and have normal, happy lives just like them. And to have to fight so hard for it is exhausting. It's exhausting. And, this is, I believe that a lot of our self-worth plays into that, because, we're so devalued. And then, we try as much as possible to have great self-esteem in ourselves and pride in ourselves, when over half of us really don't know where we come from. We were brought here. You know what I'm saying? Or should say, they were brought here and we were raised here, and because they were just, I would say, looted from whatever country they came from. We don't have records of where our families are from and stuff like that. So, it's kind of, it's been a struggle for us. And it's I don't really even know the words, but I wanted to read this from my friend. And she is what she wrote was pretty awesome. Let me read it. She said, I am really tired of seeing but statements from white people saying things like, I understand this is awful, but I agree with their anger, but I support peaceful protest, but whenever I hear the word but, I know that someone is about to follow that up with how they really feel. But this isn't the right way to protest. But not all cops are bad. But this won't solve anything. But what about all lives? Blue lives? What they should really be saying is, I understand this is awful. How can I be an agent for change? I agree with your anger. Let me support you and lift you up. I support peaceful protest and condemn all who impede and interfere with that. I stand with you. Don't come at me with that all lives matter bullshit. If all lives mattered, we wouldn't be in this damn mess. If all lives mattered, we would be figuring out a way to make sure that all lives had the same opportunities, the same access to healthcare and education. We would support all lives, and the simple truth is, we don't. I am not interested in debating this. I am not interested in your bullshit excuses or memes. I am not interested in your opinions on how people of color should respond or protest. If you are focused on riots, but you are also mad at a black man peacefully taking a knee, you can have a seat. I have seen your misdirected outrage, and I'm over it. What I am interested in is listening to black people. They deserve to be heard, coming together to find solutions, not to point fingers, but to take responsibility. working on myself to further recognize my privilege and to do better with it. I understand that I can never truly understand the frustration, anger, and pain that Black people feel. I can only step up to do my part and to also speak out against the hate that permeates this country. Please understand that if your knee-jerk reaction to this post is to get defensive, then I only hope you will take the time to examine why you feel that way and how you can change your own narrative. Thank you, Lindsay. She's awesome. And she is also in a mixed relationship. So, she also has a dog in this fight. I, I found that I have somehow surrounded myself with really awesome white allies. And that's great. And I had no idea that they were so awesome until all this shit happened. So, thank you guys. I was talking with a client today, talking about ways that, we can make change. I mean, of course we can't do it alone. It's going to take the masses. It's going to take the masses. It has to go from how, the police view us, how I'm sorry, my dog is chewing on something. And now he's tired. It's going to have to start from the bottom. Or from the top, I mean. Just how they're trained, how they view us, how they respond to certain things. For instance, like, there should be consequences for stupidity. You know what I mean? Like for instance, the I think her name is Amy Cooper, with the dog in the park, and the black guy named Cooper too, not related. How she literally said, "I'm going to call the police and I'm going to tell them that a black man, is threatening me." Just like Trevor Noah said, she knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing. She used her whiteness to try and get this black man in trouble. Who does that? Obviously, several people in the media lately, and for some time now. And they've just been getting away with it because they've been using this as a weapon. And it's not right. You would never ever see a black person saying, "There's this white woman over here and she's threatening me." The police would never come. You know what I mean? And for people like that who do false reporting and use their skin as a weapon, yes, she got fired. Kudos. Yes, her dog was taken away. Yes, because if she's crazy like that, who knows what she's doing to that dog? It's not funny, but I have to make some sort of light out of this. But it's like when people, like the lady who called the police on, I believe it was a lady who called the police on this family who was barbecuing in the park. Really? Why do you care? If you are taking a walk, who the fuck cares? Are they harassing you? Were they screaming at you? Were they trying to chase you down and beat you with sticks? No. They were minding their own business and you made them your business. Why? Boredom? You just needed something to do with your afternoon? People like that. The whole Starbucks scenario with the two guys that were waiting for the person who was supposed to hire them for a job or whatever. All that could have been avoided. Yes, public apologies. What is a public apology? What is that going to do? there should be some firmer consequences. Either a hefty fine or some jail time or something like that. You know, I was talking to someone yesterday and they made a point. They were telling me that they were upset because there were all these black people standing around filming when the cop had his knee on, Floyd's neck. And they were upset because no one, there were so many people with their phones out and not one of them, saying that, they could have taken the cops. And I said, well, I understand where you're coming from, but all these black people, had they ganged up on the police, say there's 10 black people and there's those 4 cops, they all gang up on the cops. I guarantee at least 6 of them would have been shot and at least 3 of them would have been killed. And they would have all gotten hurt in some way. And then all of the people who assaulted the cops would have been arrested that were still alive for assaulting a police officer. And then say 10 white people would have, the scenario that I see is like, say, okay, 10 white people gang up on all these cops. Maybe somebody would have got shot in the foot or something. I don't think it would have been fatal because that just doesn't happen. When it comes to black people and their interaction with the police, we're basically taught, for the most part, that even if you see the police committing a crime, don't get involved because you're probably going to die if you get involved. And how can you protest or help make a change or report the crime if you're dead? And like I said, I understand their point, but rationally, with the way the world is right now, over half of those black people who would have tried to take on the cops, it may have even just made it all worse. Who knows? I mean, of course that didn't happen but I don't know. I kind of didn't know what to say to that. I was just like, what? But again, I see their point. I'm not sure if they saw mine or not, but I'm hoping they did. I was also talking to my client today about it, and they were just so upset that, when it comes to, taking black people down for minor incidences, it's usually fatal. But, and this is their words, not mine, but, a white guy, a disgruntled white guy, can go in with machine guns or whatever, shoot up a whole stadium of people, kill 50 or more people, and maim 50 or more people. And the cops will go in, arrest that person peacefully and take them to jail. Or better yet, they can go and shoot up someplace and then take their ass to Walmart to go shopping. And I was having a discussion with about this just the other day too. It's just, I just want to say that the time is now. The time for change is now. Just, if you see injustice, stand up. Don't remain silent. If you're white or anyone who has been silent, please use your voice. Stop being silent, because you're just enabling it to go on. You're letting everybody know that it's okay. And it's not. I mean, I don't know what else to say right now. I don't want to repeat myself if I've done it again, but as my friend said, Black Lives Matter. Because if all lives matter, we wouldn't be in this predicament. So you guys think about that, and I'll catch you in the next one.